Well, we talked in yesterday's video that there might be more Playstyle Plus evolutions leaked for this new paid season pass. Looks like that actually is the case. There are some more to look at today, and they were pretty good yesterday. You know, Finesse Shot Plus, I think, was the best one in there, and now we have another one that might trump that, might be the best Playstyle Plus in the whole game. We'll go and talk about it. The evolution came out today, that the Build Your Own TOTS Evo, and yeah, I don't know. So we got that to talk about in terms of leaks and news and stuff, but some content switch ups today a little bit, and we'll start with that just right now, because why not? If you guys would like to buy coins, you can go to mmoxp.com. There will be a link in the description down below. They are the cheapest and the safest option. You can use my code JFC at checkout for an 8% discount. There's actually one more cool addition too that EA added into the code that I think is worthy of praise, actually, that we will go and talk about too. We'll start with the bad, and then we'll go into what I think is pretty good. And of course, first of all, subscribe if you're new. Thank you all for joining today. And the Build Your Own TOTS evolution came out. It's 250k. Now, it's max 92. It's only 3 playstyle pluses. You do get to pick some. I mean, it's not that great. I think the biggest reason as to why is because it's 250,000 coins. And maybe because it's the end of a year, we have a lot of coins. That price tag isn't as bad. But don't forget that with this new season pass coming out, you know, if you're going to want to buy the paid one, don't spend FIFA points on it. You're probably going to be spending 500,000 plus coins here in 5 days. Now, of course, you don't need to buy it immediately because you'll still earn all the rewards whenever you buy it. But just don't forget that, you know, we'll see what they end up charging, if it's the exact same price or if it's slightly different, but it's going to be a hefty amount of coins that you'll need to drop if you want to actually get those playstyle plus evolutions and stuff like that. But yeah, okay, let's start with what the best piece of content today was. It was the 1 of 15, yes, 1 of 15 encore player pick, and it's only 2 squads. It's exact 86 overall players, exactly 5, and an 87 overall squad here, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's the encore player picks that we've been seeing. It's anything up until the 14th of April, and it's 1 of 15 of them. So let's go and look at the best cards you can actually get in this, and that's right here. So Team of the Year cards, obviously Team of the Year Vinny, Team of the Year Mbappe, you can get in there. This Dream Chasers Mbappe, or is that Dream Chasers, I think? Yeah, Dream Chasers Mbappe, Matuidi, Team of the Year Van Dijk you can get, and then some of these cards here, like this Ginola, this Teo, this Neymar, this Mbappe, are some of the more popular evolution cards of the year so far that we have really not been able to get without obviously buying them, right? There's been some encore picks and stuff like that, but it's only repeatable once every few days. Odds are you're not getting a Teo Hernandez from that. So this does give you the chance to get one of these cards that you haven't been able to get this year if you want to put them into an evolution, because there's other ones here that are very valuable as well that aren't quite 1.2 mil that have been pretty rare because of evolutions. So that's pretty nice there. And then what also ended up happening here was because EA did the new requirement thing where you have to have exactly a certain amount of an overall rating, 86s went to the moon. Okay, they went skyrocketing today, which I guess you guys tell me what you make of this, because does this not just show you, I think they're like 9,000 coins. I can show you on the market right now, but they're like 9,000 coins. Does this not show you that all it takes for this whole time for fodder to rise has been for them to drop like a decent SBC, and it actually still rises? Like, it can rise. Now you might say if it wasn't for this exact 86 overall rating, it wouldn't have risen as high, and especially 86s, yes, for sure, I can agree with that. But I think there's been some weird stuff with EA where they're like, okay, we can't make fodder rise, it's all worthless, so we need to make this change. It's kind of like, to me, I feel like this is just indicative of if they make a good SBC that's interesting, we will be there for it. Like, people want that stuff, and we just for some reason cannot find it anywhere. Okay, let's just talk about this right now. We'll segue into this next segment. We'll keep talking about this encore pick, but here's this Donk tweet. You know, we heard about this yesterday, that he said, or that AC said, that they think that Mahrez and Insigne are the 2 best SBCs this week. And then this today, look at how many SBCs or objectives we're going to get, and yes, they were right. It is the best one. Mahrez is the best. Ivan Toney's the best. Maybe Buonga, you could actually argue, might actually be better than maybe Insigne, but either way, you're looking through here, and honestly, was this an act of sabotage this TOTS season? Okay, I'm stunned by, we just went 6 weeks without something that would genuinely knock your socks off. Not once. All of Team of the Season, guys. The odds on that, what were the odds on that prior to Team of the Season? If you're a gambling man, I mean, holy shit. I think I said this yesterday, like, maybe this is just a power curve problem and there's not much EA could have done with this, but either way, to me, I don't really fully believe that, but I'm stunned that we just went 6 weeks and this is the best we're getting. We can scroll down to this bottom part here if you guys want to see the rest of these cards. Sorry, you can't really see Watts. Let me zoom out a bit. Right there, we'll try that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, guys. So this might be me over over exaggerating, you know, you guys let me know. But from what I've been seeing from like the FC Reddit, which is usually a bit more on the like favorable to EA side, not over the top, but just like they're a little bit more like forgiving for some things. They're all like, this was an act of sabotage. And even when you got the Reddit saying it's an act of sabotage, then you know it's bad. And this is one of those things where it's like, was this actually intentional? Because now they drop one that is interesting and fodder immediately rises up where it's needed, right? 86 rated cards. 86s are up here close to 9,000. 87s are still at minimum price because all fodder on consoles minimum price. Actually on PC, because it's lower than this on PC, it did go slightly up. But yes, every single rating here is on minimum price. Like all the way up to borderline 94 rated cards are 10,000 coins. Also, Imade, if you bought her, we talked about it. She's up like 5 or 6K, which is kind of cool. Hey, coins on fodder investments, that's cool. I don't know. I don't, this has to be some sort of plan from them that they did not want to drop good stuff during Team of the Season. And then maybe they go crazy post Team of the Season. Like, what is the plan? Does anybody have any idea? But, you know, they dropped a cool SBC today, and I feel like they have the potential to do that more often, and they're just not doing it. And I want to, like, praise them still for them dropping that today, because I've asked for in the past, like, ways to repeatedly get some of those cards that are hard to attain for EVOs, like that Teo card, or the Mbappe, or the Neymar. There's plenty of other ones, too, that are pretty hard to attain, and you can get those in a 1 of 15 player pick. Yes, it's later on in the year now, but you can still, like, make an EVO with them, and maybe next year we can have a lesser of that earlier in the year. So I want to sit here and praise them, but I'm like, what? I just don't know what's happening. It almost feels like they have some sort of plan and I can't figure out what it is. Maybe I'm just a fucking dumbass. But okay, on to the evolutions we got leaked here. We've got Quick Step Plus. Yes, that's correct. Quick Step and Incisive are both on the way. Quick Step is max 96, so go take a look at some of the cards you can give Quick Step Plus to. I'm assuming it's going to be like one of the last levels because it's, you know, it's such a good play style, and I'll show you. We looked at this some yesterday, but add Quick Step Plus to, I mean, just take your pick. Right? Eusebio, Team of the Season Hansen, you can add Finesse or Quick Step Plus on. These Chelsea cards, if you somehow pack them, you got Kareem Benzema. I mean, like any meta 96 will be better with Quick Step Plus. Johan Cruyff, Team of the Season Mbappe has Rapid and Quick Step if you want. Isaac. I mean, yeah, you don't need me to tell you that they're going to be insane. And we actually saw this card yesterday too, but Quick Step Ronaldinho. I feel like a Quick Step Dino is one of the most expensive cards every single year, and you can just get him. I mean, you have to have Ronaldinho, of course, which, I mean, you have to crank some Encore icon picks to try and get that Dino card. But yeah, then you add Incisive Pass Plus, which is also great, max 95, and then Jockey Plus is also added in here. And similar to the left wing and the striker one we saw yesterday, CDM with all the roles there, you can also add on. But I was kind of waiting to see if we saw some better evolutions, because those ones yesterday weren't maybe the craziest, and this is kind of what I expected to see. The other crazy ones in the same tier as the last season that we didn't see last season, right? So Incisive was this season now, and then last season would be Tiki Taka and Ping, right? And if you didn't see yesterday's video, we can show you the rest of them. You've got this right here. So Finesse, Quick Step, Incisive will be the top 3 in this new season. Then Jockey, Long Ball, Block, and Intercept Plus. So honestly, I mean, they're all pretty good playstyles. Jockey maybe is the worst one there, I would say. Still not bad, though. Then you got pretty much these 3 are S-tier playstyle pluses. So going to be similar to what we saw this season. Great playstyle pluses. Probably going to be worth it for you if you have a ton of coins. Just buy the new season. Make crazy cards off that. It is pretty funny. I'm so curious to see what they do next year, because let's be honest here, they're probably not going to add this kind of evo. I mean, I guess they could to a certain extent if it's really low capped. Like say it's maximum 1 playstyle plus for the first season, and you can only make a card have 1 playstyle plus, and you can give it Finesse Shot Plus or something like that. You know, I'm curious to know what they do with this, because I think the reason that people think the season pass is worth it is because of these evolutions. And when they're not quite as crazy as this, you know, what does that look like for next year's season pass? How good is it going to be, really? And then also, maybe do you attribute the fodder being so cheap to the paid season pass, and that we got a lot of, you know, tradable packs in there? Does that mean the same thing will happen next year? I don't necessarily think so myself, but it could happen. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about that. And, you know, just wonder what the ways are going to be next year for EA to make the paid season pass worth it. And okay, next up here is actually a really nice addition from EA. I want to give them their credit where it is due, and that's this. So with this new league we've got, the premium upgrades this week coming out on Monday, you assume, is actually going to include both the MLS and Saudi League, and then also Serie A and Ligue 1. And you might say, okay, are they just trying to dilute the pack weight and make it worse? Well, the thing is that it does kind of do that, but also it's whoever wins the Champions League final, and we know they're going to get cards for that, are going to be in the weekly upgrade pack. So that's very cool, because we haven't seen that for a league yet. The Chelsea and Tottenham cards obviously were not in any premium upgrades because the Prem was a long time ago. So now we will be seeing either like 15, 16, 17 cards cards from PSG or Inter in these premium upgrades. So I think that's kind of cool. That'll make them slightly more achievable for people who are like menu grinding the game, even though I'm sure the weight will still be bad on them. At least you have a chance now to pack them. And everything else in here was just typos and stuff, so don't worry about that. But did think that was a good change there. And then also I want to show you guys the Emre Yilmaz tactics he used when he won the E-Champions League a couple days ago. He actually runs a pretty interesting set of tactics. So it's a 4-4-1-1 with a wingback on balance, which you really don't see very often. It's really, in this game, almost all the pros, all the best players are rocking 2 fullbacks on fullback and defend, but he actually doesn't do that. Now, he does have 2 holding center mids here. So I wonder if this, though, because obviously the meta has been the 4-2-1-3 and just through balls to your wingers and stuff like that, I feel like that would suck having a wingback on balance, but maybe because nobody else is running that, maybe you can take advantage in certain ways by using a wingback. If you guys use wingbacks and stuff like that, let me know if you think it's good, because maybe, you know, you always try and see if he found a new meta, right? Maybe fullbacks are meta again or something like that. Or sorry, wingbacks, not fullbacks. Fullbacks have been the meta. Maybe wingbacks are the meta. But yeah, sometimes it's hard to know if like he can compensate for that because he's such a good player. He's a pro for a reason, or if this is actually just a really, really good tactic. But yeah, especially this formation too. Let me know if you've used wingbacks in the comments. Okay, next up here is another max 92 cam evo that I'm surprised we get another one, but we get another cam evolution, Tiki Taka plus, Incisive plus, and Press Proven plus, stat boost, 5-star skills, and the same usual requirements down here. And there are some interesting cards that fit. For example, this 92 Mia Hamm right here. This card apparently fits in there, which let's zoom in here so you can see it better. This card fits in, so all right, maybe it'll be a little lenient in restriction there. And then also I saw one more that fits in there, and yes, this Maradona does fit as well. Finesse, rapid, 93 pace, 92 dribbling. But yeah, is it just me, or have we had a lot of cam evos recently? Maybe, well, I don't know, that might be wrong, but it feels like we've had a lot of them recently, and a lot of technical and quick step evos as well. This one though is not that tiki-taka and incisive. But also wanted to remind you guys of this evo you might not have seen. Some of you may have seen it, but there was a shapeshifters evo that came out today in the, wow, what is it called? I forgot. The timed evos. I totally can't think of the name right now. I'm blanking, but there are some pretty cool cards you can make in there. Like, I mean, this Mycon, for example, up to 96 shooting and he can play striker. I saw a Teo you can put in there, make him a striker. Yeah, just some interesting cards in there, but sometimes you miss those, like those, what are they called? The timed evos? I can't think of the name right now. Sometimes you miss those. Of course, you can't get the card for 2 weeks, but you know, you can start now and you'll get him in 2 weeks and evolve your Pokemon. But okay, there's a couple interesting things I want to talk about with the market right now, because this team of the season to me shouldn't be as supplied as some of the others. Now we'll see what the upgrade packs look like. The upgrade packs are kind of just dead nowadays anyway. They might be more hyped up with the Champions League cards coming in there, so they might be done more often this week, but I think we should see less supply on these cards this week. And if you look at the supply right now, there's not very much of them, and there's kind of 2 outcomes that'll happen here. You've got one outcome is that the cards that are in packs right now that will also be in packs for Ultimate Team of the Season. So say for example Suarez makes it, Ronaldo and Messi are probably, you know, guarantees to make it, but say Conte makes it, say Benzema makes it, right? I think you'll see these cards stay pretty high for this week and then have a drastic crash when Ultimate comes out and they're in Ultimate Team of the Season. Now the other side of that coin is that say Conte ends up not in Team of the Season, he's gonna be a very rare card, so he might actually hold value fairly well. So if you have one of these cards or want to buy one, it'll be important to pay attention to the leaks and stuff like that, because that'll be the telltale sign as to whether you're gonna want to wait until like a few days into Ultimate, or you want to just buy after Rivals rewards on Wednesday. Of course, it's gonna be hard to know for sure all the cards by Wednesday night. We might know, but we should know by Thursday, so that's kind of what I'm hoping for, is that we know all the cards by Thursday and we know if we want to buy a Benzema or a Diaby or something like that here, because I'm thinking they'll be pretty rare this week, like all these cards. You know, Ibanez is 520 right now, you know, an insane center back, but that to me, with how the market is right now, is an indication on their rarity. And same with this Fernandez card here too, definitely more rare than previous teams. So I think you have kind of the 2 outcomes there, and we'll pay attention as the week goes on as to which will come true for your players. And okay, let's read some of your comments now. We've got Punt as a Sigma says simply build your tots is paid. I'm surprised they didn't do like a free option and then a paid option to make them like a crazy center back, because a lot of our center backs right now, we just got Anticipate Plus as a playstyle plus for the paid evolutions. And I feel like a lot of our center backs right now are kind of crazy, and that's not going to like move the needle on our center backs. And then for the casual player, are they going to drop 250k on that Evo? I would say probably not. So I didn't really know what that was appealing for, or who that appealed to, because if there was a free Evo, you could then say, okay, the casuals can like make a card that's really good, but then the next tier is paid, like we've seen many times times this year, but this one's just like, no, you got to pay for all of it. And I didn't really know who that kind of was appealing towards, or who they tried to appeal towards there. And here's a comment that had some debate in the comment section yesterday. We've got Rednecks Y'all. The people that want Trivella's nerfed or Finesse's nerfed are the same low IQs that want SBCs to require exact ratings. We need to have a consistent and prevalent way to score from long range. If you go back to FIFA 23, where there was no way to score from 30 yards out, everyone plays 5 back and parks the bus, which is the worst type of gameplay, 1,000 times worse than this gameplay. As always, Trivella's and Finesse's are simple to defend, so easy. All you do is face guard the shooter and your player will block the shot, not hard. Anyone complaining about them are self-reporting as AI defenders who sit back in their box. These people should not be allowed to voice their opinions, says Rednecks Y'all. And I think you're partly making sense and partly also going a little overboard here. So first of all, I agree with you that there needs to be some sort of way to score from outside the box, but not to a ridiculous degree, right? That needs to be kind of balanced in its own way. Like for example, one of the reasons that this doesn't really make much sense is because right now Trivellas are going in with anybody you shoot with. Like you could shoot it with a center back right now. If you green time it, it might go in. And then obviously a card with 95 shooting, without the playstyle or not, it's got a great chance of flying in. So I think what they could do to make this a lot more balanced is Finesse Shot Plus and Trivella Plus players are able to do that type of like outside the box shot to a degree that EA finds balanced, or obviously that we find balanced too, but to one that EA finds balanced. Because right now there's like no rhyme or reason. There's a play style in the game specifically supposed to be for like this type of shot, and it is kind of like irrelevant for the shot. So I think that for me is kind of like one of the things that they could do, is that the Finesse Shot Plus cards and the Trivella Plus cards can be those types of cards that can do those crazy things outside the box. But right now, pretty much anybody in anyone's team can do that. And I like having the trade-off to where it's like, okay, if you want to score outside the box, you need to have a card that's equipped to do so. So I think that's where they could kind of help with that. And then where you can kind of take either opinion on this is like this next point where you're talking about how when in FIFA 23, it was just pure 5 back park the bus stuff. A way for EA to not have it be this way, but still not have Trivellas be insanely annoying, is to just make AI defending worse, right? All you got to do is make AI defending worse, and then the 5 back park the bus stuff becomes not as good. But then you might say to that, like, okay, EA will never do that. So then what's our solution from there? And that's maybe where you end up at like, yeah, we actually need Trivellas and finesse shots. But down here, you were like, these people should not be allowed to voice their opinions. The one surefire way to make sure nobody wants to listen to whatever opinions you have, whether right or wrong, is call everybody else a dumbass for disagreeing with you. You might be completely right, but just because you said these people should not be allowed to voice their opinions, people will disagree with you just because you said that. So just take it easy, all right? Just, take a chill pill. We'll be all right. But okay, I think tomorrow's video or the day after that, we'll do, leave a comment and I'll read it. So I'll mention it in the video. But okay, that's it for me. Thank you all for joining and being here today. I appreciate you all so much. I love you all. So, peace.